1 minute. Myself, hello everyone. Myself Ganesh. I am pursuing my third year BTech in VIT Chennai. I have chosen news classification as my J component for natural language processing. Coming to news classification, here we use the model text classification model in this. Now, what is text classification and what is NLP? We will see those things in this video. Coming to what is NLP. NLP means natural language process is the ability of a computer program to understand human language as it is spoken and written, referred to as natural language. It is a component of artificial intelligence. NLP enables computers to understand natural language as humans do. Whether the language is spoken or written, natural language processing uses artificial intelligence to take real world input, process it, and make sense of it in a way of computer can understand. The main aim of natural language processing is the ability of a computer to understand like a human. There are mainly two phases in natural language processing. One is data preprocessing and other is algorithm development. In natural language processing, there is a problem called ambiguity. One of the major challenges faced by NLP is ambiguity. Ambiguity means a word having the same spelling and different meaning. Like take a word like bank can refer to the bank where the money is deposited and the other meaning is river bank. In this both the word bank has the same spelling but the meaning here is changed. So since both are having the same spelling, it is difficult to tackle this problem. The context of the sentence plays a huge role in this situation. The recent models like BERT based on transforms have tackled the problem and tried to differentiate the words based on the context. What is text classification? Text classification, also known as text tagging or text categorization. Text classification is the process of categorizing the text into a group of words. Here, the main aim of the text classification is to categorize the given sentence to a group of words. And text classifier can automatically classify text and then assign a set of predefined tags or categorize it based on its contents using natural language processing. There are three types of text classifications are there in this. One is role-based, mission-based, and hybrid-based. And coming to the applications, where is text classification used? A few of the applications of the text classification are as follows. Classification of emails like spam and not spam. Classifying if your product review is positive or negative or a neutral. Suppose if you are taking a website, here they are asking their responses whether the reviews are positive reviews or negative reviews or neutral reviews. We will use natural language processing in those things. That is called sentiment analysis. Tagging the topic of a given text like Twitter, news blogs. So many things we use the natural language processing as the application. Now, coming to text classification system. Collect a labeled dataset for the task. Collect the labeled dataset for the task and split the dataset into different parts like training and testing. And transform raw text to feature vectors like stemming, lemmaization, etc. Train a classifier using those features vectors and label in training data. Now here we will separate the data set like training and testing, like 80% of training data and remaining we use for testing. And here we train a classifier using these feature vectors and label in training data. Evaluate the model by testing in testing data set. Now finally develop the model. Different ways of text classification. A simple classifier without the text classification pipeline. Using existing text classification applications. Different classifiers uses a pipeline like machine learning models and neural embedding and deep learning. Here we can do in different ways of text classification. Word and document embedding. A word embedding is a learned representation for text where words that have the same meaning as a similar representation. The problem of it's out of vocabulary. Out of vocabulary is the problem we have seen in this. Fast text is extremely fast to train but has a huge model size. Doc to vector. Input is a sentence or paragraph rather than words. Like coming to tweet in Twitter, there will be a tweets like it will be like a sentence or a paragraph rather than the words. Large pre-trained language models. Using an already built pre-trained model can be very useful in many cases. BET is a popular text model. To use this, we have to pre-process the dataset according to BET's requirements. As the pre-trained models are very standard, if the overlap of problem is over 80%, it is better to use a pre-trained model than build a new one. Now, if there is a overlapping is the problem we occurred in these models, then better to go for the pre-trained models than building a new one. Interpreting text. To explain why a classifier classifies a certain text into a certain class, we use a model called LIME. Each data has a few features for the prediction. Let's say for sentiment analysis, a few words signifies positive and a few words signifies negative. If a certain feature is deleted and demanded out of vocabulary, then the results will change completely. Like suppose if you are taking a reviews, like there will give some positive and some negative signs. If you delete and demand out of the vocabulary, then the results will be changed. And we use a model in this is LIME model. Less or no data. If the data is less or there is no data, what to do? If the data is less, start with the given data. If the data is very less, start with the given data, the data what we have, and start with the data and build the model. Later, add the features and data and train the model again. And later, if you get the data and add the features and train the data model again. Follow this process till the model has enough data. If there is no existing data, then manually labeling has to be done and use this training data. Use Stanford Learning case study. BET example. Using models for checking accuracies. Once the given text is parsed, after lemmaization, stemming, and remove stop words. Like suppose if you take a sentence, it has full of words. Like take this as a sentence. It is having full of. Oh, sorry, 1 minute. Um, like it is having full of sentence. What is mean by the removing the sharp words means in this sentence we are having the, are, then. So those things are the stop words. We have to remove those words. Like coming to in previous week, we will know those things. We will remove those words and taking the remaining words as a tokens. These things are called lemmaization, stemming, and removing stop words, and it's converted into tokens. The tokens are then converted into numerical format for the inputs of models. And after converting that numerical token, after converting the tokens into a numerical format for the inputs of models. Now the numerical data can be split into training and testing. Like before I said that we are having like suppose we are having so much of huge data is there. We will take 80% or 70% as the training data and 20% of that or 30 as a testing data, and we will build model for the taking training data as an input, and we will build the model, and each model can be trained or training data and the accuracy will be found out. Like we will test those training data and check for them and check for testing those models and finding the accuracies. Coming to machine learning models like KNN, SVM, Neobase, etc., and deep learning models like LSTM, RNN, CNN can be used to check the accuracy. In the text classification, previous I said that we use machine learning and hybrid testing like that, hybrid system. Coming to in machine learning, we use these Neobase, SVM, KNN, these models to check the accuracies and to do these things. And in coming to deep learning, we will use RNN, CNN to check the accuracies. These are the main things to know in text classification. This is the main thing. Like first we have to convert the data into the tokens. This is the main thing we have to know first. And after we have to split those things like training and testing, and training the model and check with the testing data and applying the machine learning models. In our project, we use machine learning models like Neobase and KNN, like those models we use in our project in news classification. This is about the text classification. When it coming to our project, this is the data set we used in our project. It is a newspaper article, like as I said before, it is a news classification. So we take a article as our data set. And before previously I said that here previously I mentioned we have to convert the text into tokens. Like first we have to remove the stop words like the, in, the, a, of, those words, and taking the remaining as a tokens. And after splitting the, after we have to convert the tokens into a numerical format, and we have to convert those tokens into a numerical format, and those numerical format will now change it to now divide those part into training and testing. And we train a, we find a model for the training data, and we test for accuracies. And we here we will use some models like machine learning models. And here the main we have to categorize like this. Wait 1 minute, I will show some libraries we will add. And in our main data set we use BBC News .csv. Here we use BBC News as a data set. Like here the article will be there, and input is like text, means a sentence. A sentence will be the input, and the output will be the category. Means suppose the user will give a sentence like a 100 to 200 words. A sentence user will give, and we will find the which category it belongs to. Like in this data set we are having business, tech, politics, so sports, entertainment. These are the categories we are having in this data set. Suppose if you given a sentence, first we will remove the stop words and taken into a tokens and converting into numerical and train those models. Like in that tokens, which of the words are mainly in coming to business or politics or sports, the user given sentence will all go to those categories. And this is the data set, and the data set of having nearly 1490 rows and 3 columns. Thus the columns are article, text, category. And coming to, this is the main objective of our project, like giving a sentence or a text and categorizing which category it belongs to. Like here we will find which category it is belongs to. And nearly we taken some, here we used the different models like random forest, logistic regression, and hypertext turning, KNN. Here we used so many models to check the accuracies and to find those things. Thank you. This is about our project and the text classification we used in our project. Thank you.